Hello everyone, this is Alex Strizak with my MPA 540 Week 4 presentation. So we'll be looking at generations and how that can be affected through management or in the workplace. A quick summary on each generation. We have traditionalists, which are more policy and team-oriented and hardworking. We have the baby boomers, which are comfortable with the long work hours because they are very good at processing the bigger picture. We have Generation X, which is goal oriented and very newer to multitasking and informal work environment. And then we have Generation Y, which is more of a diverse, social, and takes more pride in personal relationships. So when analyzing myself with the generation that I am categorized in, which is Generation Y, being born in 1996, there are similarities I see in the associations that go with this. So there was some talk of multitasking with technology. I agree with there were statements about desired flexible work schedule with office and home. That does sound like something that's interesting to me and would be something that would be joyful. And the attention to personal relationships, I do feel like compared to the traditional generation per se, which I'll compare in a sec with my grandma, personal relationships are a little more important in the workforce than what my grandparents would possibly view. And with Generation Y, there's this confidence and acceptance and diversity, and I agree that I do everything I can, and I'm more prided on making sure that we are inclusive with everyone, making sure that we're confident when we walk in. And with social media, it's hard not to be social in this generation. So, looking at my generation and comparing it to my grandmother and grandfather, who were traditionalists that were born between 1925 and 1945, I really see the difference in they are more built around what were the established rules. My generation's a little more confident in saying how can we change those rules. My grandparents were more team players at the workplace. My grandpa was an engineer that was part of the car creation process in Detroit at the time when he was in his teens and 20s and 30s, and he was dedicated to his job, and he sacrificed a lot of personal time to do that job in order to receive good pay to cover the expenses of his family. And I think you do see more of that self-sacrifice and more adhering to rules than what you would see in my Generation Y, which is more debate, more questions about why we have rules established, what adjustments or updates need to be made to those. So to close out this presentation, there are differences between traditionalists and Generation Y when comparing my grandparents to myself, but there are a lot of similarities in that we're both hardworking, we're both striving for certain goals. So there are similarities we can draw that people will come together to complete a task that no matter the generation. So when looking from a managing perspective, I think it's very difficult to have a cookie cutter, as I call it, or a one-way management style for each generation, because every person is an individual, and that's what makes managing so difficult. Is if we generalize people, they won't feel as unique, or especially with Generation Y, that they have that personal connection to their work and to the people around them in their organization. So management is a unique style per person. These generations can give us a little general background when we're going in to speak with someone or to manage someone of what they may be more like or what they may react better to, but it's not a clear answer or a guideline of how to.